First things first, I mean, I love them to bits, but they're now in their late 70s and early 80s, and they're getting to be seriously hard work. They've still got each other, which is one massive saving grace, because if it was just one of them, that would be a different kettle of fish altogether. That's going to happen, obviously, inevitably in the future. When one of them dies, then one of them's then left on their own. But at the moment, they've still got each other. And so, well, they can fight and bicker amongst each other, and it doesn't come outside of the house, and I don't get involved in it. But more than that, they've also got each other to look after. I say that.
What's it like getting old?
What's it like getting old? Well, put it like this: I really would not want to go back in time.
Really?
No,
Oh, no.
definitely not. I think the way life is
Once you've
now,
done it, you've done it. You don't want to go back.
the way life is now, I don't know whether we would cope very well with life as it is for young
Well, I
people.
just
Really?
wouldn't want to.
No.
But my mum is the chief carer. My dad's mobility has now, it's just almost non-existent. We had him on a walker. That took long enough to convince him that he needed to do that. And then when he still started to fall over, honestly, the conversation about trying to buy a mobility scooter for him, I mean, it lasted months and months and months. We ganged up on him. My mum and I ganged up on him, and we took him down the mobility scooter shop, and we've got him a mobility scooter. Now he's happily riding along the promenade in Brighton, running everybody over, which is... okay, it's not so good for the people on the promenade, but it's great for him. It's great for my mum, though, because she is now able to walk so much further and get into places and go to places that she couldn't do before, because he was literally walking at a snail's pace, and they'd make it to the local coffee shop and back. I've moved to Brighton, and I've moved to Brighton primarily so that I can be so much closer to them. The relief from my mum's perspective, just knowing that we're just down the road and can literally respond to any emergency, I mean, you just can't quantify it. But I've uplifted my entire life. Thankfully, my life, I could do it, and I was able to do it, but I've uplifted my entire life, and I've moved from where I lived now down to Brighton to be so much closer to them. I think what I didn't really appreciate was, as my mum is his full-time carer, just the pressure, the stress, the anxiety that causes her on a day-to-day basis. And now that I'm seeing her almost every day, you can see that level of stress and anxiety increasing all of the time. And it's all on her as his main carer. And that's really tough. I mean, what a way to end your life, where you're just a carer. You're no longer really a wife, but you're just caring for your elderly husband. That must be as tough as hell. The other night we went round for dinner. This is actually on Friday night. We went round for dinner. We cooked, well, my partner Charlie cooked, and we took the food over to their house and had a great meal, and beef stew and dumplings, lovely, real proper winter food, and sat there, had a good old chinwag about the same things time and time again, because they forgot that they'd already mentioned them. But then, and we left, I suppose we left about 8 o'clock, came back home and went to bed. I woke up in the morning, and at 10:30, I'd seen a missed call from my mum. Within the space of a couple of hours of us being round for dinner and 10:30, it had all gone wrong. So they'd tried to go to bed, and he couldn't get out of the chair that he was in. And then when he did, it took ages to get him from there over to the bedroom. And my mum was obviously panicking that something had gone madly, madly wrong, to the extent that she actually phoned 999. And so this all happened while I was blissfully unaware and asleep, because I'd had my phone on silent. The last call from the medics was about 3 a.m. And they'd had people round to come and, you know, assess him and all that sort of stuff. And the guilt, let me just tell you, the guilt of waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning to find that I've missed that call from my mum, and I'm literally 2 minutes drive, 10 minutes walk, and I was blissfully unaware, and she'd had a terrible night's sleep. And it just makes you think, okay, right, we're in a different stage of life now, and how have we got to deal with it? So she tried to ring once. This is typical, isn't it, of old people. She tried to ring once. Oh, I won't disturb him. He didn't answer the phone. He must be asleep. I'll just deal with it and talk about it with him in the morning. And the guilt of waking up and hearing that she'd had the worst night ever, and I was blissfully unaware and asleep, was absolutely, it was almost unbearable. And the first thing I had to do when I spoke to her is, I'm so sorry for not picking up the phone. I didn't know you were ringing. So we've set up this new, I don't know whether you guys have seen one of these things. I'm learning all of the time now, because it's obvious that over the next few years my life is going to change to being more of a carer of my aging and elderly parents. So we set up this thing called Life 360, which is an app on your phone, and so there's an SOS button. And so, I mean, whether she's going to be able to use it or not is a completely different question. I've shown her, but she'll probably forget. I mean, the reality is she can now track me wherever I go. So she sees wherever I am in the world, she can see on this app. But there is an SOS button, and it overrides, you know, whether your phone is on silent and all that sort of stuff, and sends out alerts. So I just said to her, if you have that again, you can't get through to me on the phone, just press that SOS button and literally everything in the house will ring, and I'll know that you need help. So listen, this is the first real step for me on the journey of looking after elderly parents. This little Life 360 app could be great. Who knows? If you've got any tips, tricks on looking after elderly people, then please add it into the comments below. I'm going to be talking a lot more about this inevitably as we go forward. So see you on the next video.